Hey guys, welcome to another Timpedia book review. This time we've infiltrated a dorm room at Drexel University to find the book that we're looking for. A book so secretive and so old that I'm sure that none of you have heard of it, and only those who have access to old files know of its existence. Supposedly in apartment A of this dorm, we can find the book. Let's go hunting. Let's find this bad boy. Well, this is a general dorm room. There's nothing here. Some kitchen. Room A. Let's hope no one's at home. No one seems to be here, but let's not get surprised. Desk. Too obvious. No one would hide it in their desk. A dresser.
Let's see what's inside, shall we?
Nothing of value. Let's check this one. Books. Oh, look at all these. A crystal star. Piece of garbage. All these books. Could it be here?
The Black Fleet trilogy. That's something we might have to talk about. No.
There it is. The X-Files. Goblins. Hey guys, and welcome to Timpedia book review number 6. As you guys can probably already guess, we're going to be talking about X-Files Goblins this time. I'm sorry about that sort of lengthy intro, but I love the intro song to X-Files. It's one of the best intro songs to any series ever, so when I got the chance, I used it as much as I could, as you could tell. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the book. Now, as a quick background to those of you who don't know what X-Files is a TV show from about 20 years ago, a while ago. I remember, as a personal story, when I was growing up as a young kid, my parents would watch it while me and my brother were trying to fall asleep, and sometimes they'd have it a little high, and I'd be able to hear what was going on, and that was scary stuff. The X-Files was sort of a cross between all the crime shows we have today and the paranormal. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you watch it, but that's what it is. It's a paranormal crime show. But it's not like it's super sci-fi. It's a very real show, and you get a very real sense of things when you're with these people. The main characters of the story, except for the last few seasons, were Fox Mulder and Dana Scully, and they are the stars of this book. If you don't know, Mulder is a guy who personally runs the X-Files. What are the X-Files? The X-Files are the files at the FBI that no one can really explain, that are unsolved cases that really seem to have no explanation, so they're sent to the X-Files. Mulder, at the beginning of the show, is the only one who works there, and Dana is sent to watch him, and they become friends, and as the story progresses, things change. But that's something you have to watch the show to learn about. What the book is about is it's about how a temporary director of the FBI, I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, that's pretty bad, I know, but it's from the show where Skinner, a very cool character who is the director of the FBI, he is sick or out for some reason, I can't remember. He's in hiding at that point of the show, I believe, and this other guy is sent in, and he does not like Mulder at all. Mulder, to most people except Skinner and Dana and some others, is a total nutcase who goes to these X-Files and works there, and they just cannot understand his devotion to them at all. But he is completely devoted because of something that happened to his sister when he was a very young boy. But anyway, Mulder and Scully are working in the X-Files, and 2 new agents are assigned to them for this particular case that they are sent on. And Mulder does not like them. They're sent to watch him, basically, and report how he is acting and if he's following FBI procedure to the new director. The case they are sent on is an interesting one. They are sent to a military outpost, Fort Dix, and they are supposed to be looking into some murders that have been taking place there. A number of people have had their throats cut by an unusually strong person. There's no witnesses, and except for one woman who was drunk and high when she saw a murder take place behind the car she was in. But other than that, they really don't know what's going on. And as the book goes on, you learn more and more about the residents of the town and how this town that really is not ready for this kind of thing and is just sort of a town outside of the fort is not really prepared for this kind of violence. And there are definitely some strange things going on, though. When you read the accounts of the people who are murdered before it takes place, since, the FBI doesn't know it, but you learn about it from the point of view of the victims, the attacker seems to appear out of nowhere. In one of the murders, it just seems like a brick wall comes up and slashes the person. Or in the case of a military man, his throat is cut by an arm reaching out of a tree, an arm covered in bark. And they can't really explain why this is happening and what's going on. So what they do is they send Mulder and Scully in, and they get attacked a couple times. They get shot at one point and other things like that. But they never find out who's behind this, at least until the end. But I'm definitely not going to spoil the ending because it's a good one. But it's both a twist and not, because the true killer is the twist, but you understand pretty quickly where this is all coming from. I'll tell you about that a little. You find out that the cause of all this is a special project taking place in an Air Force hospital inside the Army fort. There are some weird experiments going on into not necessarily invisibility, but more chameleon-type tactics, where someone can become completely invisible with their surroundings. Like if you stand against a tree, you'll look like you have bark. You'll just blend right in, like a chameleon. And these experiments are not going very well. They're working, but at the same time, the subject is unpredictable. And the side story is about the major and a woman doctor who run the project. Let's talk about characters for a little. Mulder and Scully are written quite well. They're not quite up to TV quality, but for this being written as a book for a TV show, you can still tell that it's Mulder and Scully, and they still act like Mulder and Scully. Like there's a scene at the beginning when Mulder is at the Jefferson Memorial, and it's a perfect moment, because actually in this TV show, Mulder goes to the Jefferson Memorial because it's a much quieter place in D.C. than most other places. So that was a really cool little throwback, and other things like that where it really fits in with their character. They really wrote the characters well. There are 2 other agents who are sent with Mulder and Scully, a woman named Anderson and a man named Weber. Weber is a brand new agent, and Anderson is pretty new too. And Anderson is pretty resistant to some parts of she doesn't like a lot of the people who live near the fort, or the townspeople. She doesn't get along with them. Weber is sort of that happy-go-lucky brand new agent who just thinks that the cases are easy to solve and the FBI can crack any case and the FBI is perfect and things like that. And his eyes are opened in the book. But the major they're written okay. The major and the medical staff, they're written decently enough. They're pretty generic characters, so they're not written great, but it works. There's also a sports writer who is Mulder's friend, who comes and is part of the reason the story gets investigated in the first place. He isn't much. He's basically just a womanizer who thinks that he is more important than he really is. He's a sports writer, but he keeps insisting that he's a reporter who writes about sports. So he's sort of like, he likes to think that his options are open, that he's not just a sports writer, but he really is. So he's sort of big for his britches, I guess you could say. But there's no other real characters in the book. The goblin, quote unquote, is not really personified in any way. It's just a killer. So there's no real motivation in the book. There's not much. It's just the killer likes killing. It's not much beyond that. The setting is good. It's a wooded setting for the book around the fort, and so it all works nicely to create this eerie mood of a small town scared of this invisible menace. And it works well. It's a good setting. Overall, it would have made a very good episode, and there are several episodes that are certainly like it. But this is certainly would have been a good episode for the show. And on that note, I would like to just say, if you have not seen the X-Files show, I would absolutely recommend checking it out. I prefer it very highly over a lot of the cop shows of today. The characters were more interesting. And there's a lot of the cop shows today, I'm sort of getting off track, but a lot of them seem to have big casts, like lots of cops. This had 2, Mulder and Scully. There was Skinner, a supporting character, and then later on 2 new agents were brought in, but that was a twist more than just adding to the team. And then there's some other characters, like the cigarette smoking man's a really good one, and there's some other big players, but there's no cops. It's just Mulder and Scully against the world, and that really made the series work. So anyway, I've been going on for too long. Overall, Goblins, it's a good book. It's certainly not something that someone who does not like the X-Files will love. If you liked the X-Files, you'll like the book. If you don't know about the X-Files, then I would consider reading the book. And if you like books over TV shows, then read the book, and maybe that'll make you want to watch the series. If you like TV more than books, maybe check out the series, and if you like it enough, read the book. But overall, I would recommend this book to anyone who really likes the horror genre. Not heavy horror, but like mystery horror, I'd say. More mystery, that kind of thing. So overall, gets a thumbs up recommendation for me. I would recommend this book, and you guys should totally read it. The show, even more so. Watch it. It's a great show. I love it. Even now, it's still unmatched in my mind. Few other shows can I watch again and just be blown away by. So, anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. This is Timpedia. I will catch you guys later.